Hi guys, I know I didn't announce that I was going live. This is more of an impromptu thing that I thought might be helpful, and I just thought I'd go ahead and record it while I had a minute. And then hopefully whoever's going to join us joins us, and whoever watches later will still benefit, right? So today I made a post, and it appears as if I was misunderstood, so I want to share it. And that post is basically about the order of operations. So I want to talk to you guys about the order of operations, right? There is a divine order to things, but if we don't, this is what I want to talk to you guys about, the proper way to see. Now, the proper way to see isn't Cindy's way of seeing. It's a universal way of seeing. I just figured it out. It's true of everybody, right? So when I talk about order of operations, what I mean is, have you remember in math class long ago when you guys were taking this math class, right? And you guys were given these long equations, right? The parentheses, the exponents, the subtraction, the division, the multiplication, or whatever. And if you did it out of order, you would always get the wrong answer. Although it appeared logically to be the right answer, you would get the wrong answer. Meaning that if you had this long equation and you came up with the answer as 10, but the correct answer is 1, the only reason you would figure out what the correct answer was is if you come back and you figure out where did you mess up the order, right? Where did you forget to do the parentheses first, the exponents, or the multiplication, or the division, or the addition, or the subtraction? In which order did you mess up in order to get the wrong answer? Okay? That makes sense? Our life is exactly the same way. Okay? So I want you to understand that you are the light. You are always the light that animates the carcass from within. So what is happening is you just walk into a situation. So it appears as if this situation is happening to you at the moment, right? And so you can always tell when you're unconscious of how the situation was made when you guys come to me for help. I mean this sincerely. Meaning that you say to me, Cindy, I don't know how I made this. And then you go ahead and you tell me everything that you're perceiving in the moment. Okay? And this is where I come in and help you see it in reverse. Because the truth is, whatever you are judging was there before you ever judged it as real. It is what you are thinking. It can only appear because you are standing there, because it is how you think and how you think alone. And until you take responsibility for that, that illusion will be your slave master. Okay? So if it comes to a relationship, what I'm saying is, I'm going to judge that as, this guy's not that into me. Just giving you an example. This guy seems distant, so he must not be that into me. And he avoids me sometimes, and he prefers to spend time with his friends. Okay? This is how I judged this neutral occurrence that I've just stepped into. Okay? And now you come to me and you ask me for help. How do I undo this? I don't want to be in this situation. And what you failed to understand is the way you judged it is how you are thinking, and that is how you are supposed to see, so you can use your vessel to change the outcome. You guys are eternal. It means you contain every possibility within. So the minute your mouth or your thoughts act against yourself and you judge that moment as something other than yourself, you will suffer. It's law. Because it's the wrong answer. It's the wrong order of operations. Okay? What you are is always on display outside of you. How you judge it is an indication of how you are thinking. And it requires revision if it is causing you pain, because that pain is an indication of wrong thinking. Of, like For example, someone asked me the other day when it came to a bigwig CEO, how do I see this guy differently? You see him differently because you know that CEO is your reflection. How easy is it to condemn a man that we don't recognize as ourselves and not recognize that we're the source of that evil? Do you understand that that man cannot appear any other way except as we believe him to be? So who is the true source of evil if we're seeing evil? That's why I say order of operations first. Understand what you are seeing to understand what you are thinking, and then you use your vessel to change the outcome. What we are doing is the opposite order of operations. We go and we look outside, we judge outside, and then we appear to cement in what we are thinking because we're animating it from within, making it very real. And as soon as we judge it incorrectly, we get to be correct in the illusion. Therefore, we have stepped into a 3D box that is an illusion, and you get to be correct in that illusion. That, my friends, is sleep. When you don't recognize yourself as first cause, that is sleep. And that is very different from realizing that everywhere you go, you are seeing yourself and your self-perception outside of you. Everything I look at, I animate from within. That is the first order. I am first cause. That's very, very important. Everything you believe, everything you expect will be. Right? So I'll give you another example. If you expect cheating men, you get cheating men. Now you can get mad because you're seeing cheating men, but you were forgetting first cause began with you. So therefore, blaming another for what we expect and what was made in our image makes zero sense. It's wrong answer. Like I said, wrong answer every time if you do not look with the correct order of operations. And the correct order of operations are you are first cause, your reflection is outside. To maintain neutrality, you must observe what you are thinking without judgment. And from there, from a place of peace, how would you serve that reflection? How would you fill in the blank? Because you, the human vessel that is God, that is source, contains it all. And it is up to you to serve or not serve. But I assure you, when you don't serve, you are shorting yourself and yourself alone. You are robbing yourself. For example, if I judge a rich man as evil and apart from me, I will not know riches because that richness is apart from me. Therefore, I've condemned and shorted myself. If I see evil and I don't recognize that my perception is actually the evil, then again, I've shorted myself. Okay? And what occurs, because it's cyclical in nature, you will be on the receiving end of how you've perceived another human being. This is law. Your action and reaction. Okay? So, when we forget that we have viewed someone this way, and then we're on the receiving end, we feel injured, and we don't understand why this is happening to us, and we have not yet understood that we are simply on the receiving end of our own actions, of our own thoughts, of our own deeds at all times. It is never not a moment in which you are not first cause. Okay? So when it comes to relationships, how you perceive them is everything. It is first cause. It's first cause. And this is the most important part of the equation because anytime, you're warned against not looking at the illusion, not accepting duality as real and blah, 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 blah. This is what it's talking about. It's always you with you. It's never not made in your image.
These are universal constant truths that never fail to be true no matter what. Now, in ignorance, we can ignore them and not know and say, no, we're not one with all of creation at once. But we would be lying to ourselves in the utmost ignorant statement there could ever be, because we have never been able to separate what is whole. We are the individuated whole. There is never a moment in which I don't carry you all in my spirit, in which I'm not hearing you constantly, because you all are me and vice versa. We are each other. It is never, ever not the case. And we can judge people apart. I do it. And just as easily, I correct myself. I have to. And so this is really where the crux of almost every problem exists. I don't recognize myself as first cause, and I'm stuck because I looked at it in the wrong order. And so you always know you're in the wrong order when things are happening to you and you don't understand why. Right? That's when you're in the wrong order. You have to become formless, look around, and look at what you're shown, and without judgment, appreciate what they're telling you. See? And then if you don't react, you get to be in peace, and that peace then becomes a magnetic force where all things are drawn, because at the end of the day, all things must return to source. So who needs to remember who they are? Source. Source and source alone. Okay, you guys? So that's what I want to say. It's like, you know, a lot of times if you're feeling stuck and you haven't made an appointment with me, write down what you're thinking. Take a moment, right? Wherever you're stuck, write down how you're judging the moment. And I want you to do it backwards now. I want you to look and see what you have written to be the exact image of what you have seen. And know it to be the confirmation of the box you have placed yourself in. The ability to get in and out of states is determined by your ability to perceive the situation differently. Okay? It's like, if you remember back in the day, those books that you used to choose your own ending, where like, if you wanted this to happen, you would choose page 13, and if you want this to happen, you'd go to page 21, kind of thing. Do you remember that? That's what you're doing at all times. And every time you go to a new page, 13 or 21 or whatever, it's a new dimension of yourself. You're not going anywhere. You are moving in your head and your head alone. Deeper into yourself. Your choices represent parallel worlds. There's never a moment that you are not entering in and out of parallel worlds, your eternal states, because the only thing you have ever done in your incarnation was decide to be born so you can recognize yourself. The only reason. And so what do we do when we don't recognize ourselves? We sin. We sin. We miss the mark. And see, the thing is even if what we thought was horrible at first, if we can take an instant to forgive ourselves, recognize what we've thought, and change it, and in that instant, you would see, if you're present, okay, if you're not living in your past, you would see how instantly that reflection outside of you changes, because the reflection isn't out there, it's in here. And that's what we have to get used to. And most of us as human beings, we've been taught the opposite. Look out there and let that determine your state. Okay? That would be like adding and subtracting before doing the parentheses and the exponents. Answer still wrong. Okay? So when you are told seek the kingdom of God first, you are told seek what you are out there, hone it in, recognize it for what's in here, and then from that place of balance, how you behave is totally different, isn't it? Would you intentionally be mean to yourself? Would you intentionally judge yourself? Judgment Day is every day, you know that, right? People say it's at the end of the world. No, babe, it's every day. You're doing it to your self-reflection and not recognizing yourself. The minute you do, the judgment ends. The compassion begins. The self-acceptance begins. And until you have this, until you understand this, you cannot have love, because you will never appreciate your whole self. And without that appreciation of your whole self, no one out there can do it either, because they can only see what you see because you are the source of the reflection. That's the correct order of operations. That's the precise mathematical equation, you know. And I'm not wrong in the sense that we are only told to do two things. Love yourself with all your might and love your neighbor as you love yourself, in that order. Therefore, it's always balanced. And see, what we tend to do, especially as women, men too, but mostly women, them first, then us. Them first, then us. Wrong answer. And if you don't recognize it as the wrong answer, consider how you've been treated as second best, as second option all the time, and consider that you did this unconsciously. From the minute you said them first, you gave them unconscious permission to place you second. And so when you don't realize that you've done that, then we get in a situation where we get upset with our partner because our partner appears to be placing us second. We gave the order. See, until we take responsibility for the shortcomings in our relationship, we cannot change them. And blaming outside when it's an illusion makes zero sense, when the whole time you are the source of the reflection viewing itself from all angles. You can always tell when you're not accepting of your own thoughts when you condemn them, because it's real easy to do when it appears to be another person. That's part of the design. Magical design, I tell you. Very convincing. Okay? That's why I'm helpful, or why it's funny when John calls me backwards. It's not that I'm the one that's backwards. And he doesn't say it backwards like a bad thing. It's just I see the inverse of what he sees as what he's trying to say. But the inverse of what I'm seeing is the correct order of operations. And as long as I have that correct order of operations, when I move, the carcass moves. When I move, the carcass moves. That's the balance. That's the control of the dominion over your earth. Okay? When I am not in control of my thoughts, when I'm looking out there and I'm fooled by what I'm being shown, now my reflection moves without me, appears to move without me, right? Because I don't know that what I don't realize I'm thinking is on display outside of me, and so it appears to have a life of its own. Could do whatever it wants. Nothing you can say could change it. That's correct. Because you're not recognizing yourself in them, therefore you have no control over them. And it's not even control, it's an illusion. Because at the end of the day, what you're really mastering is your own reflection. And your reflection alone. Love is a demonstration of self-acceptance. And that's it. When you're at peace with your thoughts, when your mind is a calm pool of water with absolutely no waves, you will recognize the power of your own peace. So how is this peace achieved? It's achieved by accepting who you are. But who you are is a lot more complex than just this individual body. This individual body is on display everywhere at once. That's my true reflection, and that is beautiful. I appear everywhere. And my life experience is on display to help me. And until we recognize this, we don't appreciate it fully. And therefore, we, as a being, are not appreciated fully. It's such a simple thing. I mean, it's funny, the things that my mom taught me, but never realized how valuable they are until now. But they are. So I just wanted to, kind of get in here and kind of help, if you could just maintain the correct order of operations, how and what you see, the quality of what you see changes dramatically. Right? So I just want you guys to think about that. If you need help kind of recognizing the universal reflection, or you don't understand how it's you, or you need help with this, feel free to reach out to me. This is what I do. But even if you don't have me at your side to point this out, try looking at it this way, and I promise you, you will see how people are playing the roles you need to see in order to serve you. Not work against you, in order to serve you. And even if we believe a mass murderer exists, here's it does, and we place that in there, it's still there for our evolution. It's always for us. We animate what we choose to see. And that's the correct order of operations, you guys. If you can maintain that, you have a total different control of your life. Consider it. Think about it. Or reach out to me. I'm here. Love you guys. Bye-bye.